Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm dear darling, and shall we see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhallow today, where we'll be chatting about, I don't know exactly what. We'll find our footing. No, nothing particularly in mind. What? Nothing immediately came to mind. Yeah. What can I talk about? I don't know. It's hard to talk midweek, because midweek not really anything interesting happens. Except for, I don't know, if I'm like playing a new game or something like that. If anything, I have a surprising amount of spare time at the moment. But good evening, everyone. And now in Fawnhallow, it's 8:47 PM on Tuesday, December 10th, 2024. As tomorrow will be the final sort of session of D&D before the holidays. I'm going to be on a bit of hiatus for a while, which is nice. Well, I mean, not nice in the fact I don't know D&D, but nice in fact it gives me a bit of a break, a breather. We don't have any birthdays coming up. All of those celebrations have gone. There's not really like Christmas presents I need to prepare or anything, so it's just kind of like, yeah, I don't know, we're just kind of relaxing. And with this newfound freedom, I'm like, I don't know what to do. Really, I should be playing, not should be, but like I've been saying all this time, being like, oh, I want to play some more Rivals of Aether, and I just haven't got around to it. Today's a good day to try it, or at least do a bit more drawing. To be honest, I haven't done that for a good long while. I actually don't know if there's any flowers for me to clean up, because I don't think it's snowed or rained recently. I know it is literally snowing right now, which I guess is a grand irony of it, but yeah, what should we talk about? I've heard about Marvel's Rivals. Well, it came out like, I can't remember exactly when it came out. It came out a bit ago, didn't it? But it's basically like Marvel's, I don't know how else to describe it. It's Marvel's version of Overwatch, which, yeah, I mean, I've got nothing against that or anything. If they want to do their own sort of thing, it's interesting how the hero shooter seems to be like a lot of people trying to take a slice of that pie, right? I guess people saw Overwatch 2 languishing, and they were just like, maybe we can capitalize upon this opportunity. And quite a few games came out. I mean, obviously the big one that people talk about, which came out and then just immediately died, Concord, which I didn't even get to play. Would I have tried it? Probably not, but still. It's interesting to see a lot of people's sort of retrospectives about it, about why it sort of ended up collapsing immediately. A lot of it to do with like appeal and design, I think, is a big thing, and Overwatch certainly has that in spades. I'm not going to say they don't. I'm not going to just lie to you like that. But there was that, what was Valve's one called? I can't remember what it's called anymore. I played it a couple of times, and I thought it was kind of interesting. It was more like a shooter MOBA, if anything, rather than a hero shooter. What was it called? I can't even remember. Valve shooter MOBA. Deadlock. I wonder if we have numbers. Steam, Deadlock, player numbers. I wonder how many people are still actively playing it. 24,000. That's still honestly quite a lot of people playing it, mind you. I mean, it's not the all-time peak of 100,000, but last 30 days, peak 50,000. Hold on, let's look at. It is on the slow decline, which is, to be fair, it's been out, what, 3 months? It's been out 6 months? What? Oh, it was probably in beta for ages, and then it got released about 3 months ago. Yeah, like 100k is unsustainable. 20k. Okay. Hold on, let's see. Dota 2 player chart numbers. I want it to do well, to be honest, because I think it's kind of cool. Whoa, 600,000 with Dota 2. That's not a good comparison then. What is like a multiplayer game which is probably doing okay for itself on Steam? There's not going to be many. Battle Right? Are people still playing Battle Right? 90 players right now. Okay, people are not playing Battle Right. You know what? Rivals of Aether 2. How's this doing right now? About 2,000. Okay, not bad. Yeah, I mean, I played a bit of Deadlock, and I thought it was kind of cool. I just never really got stuck into it, and it didn't really catch on in our friend circle, so didn't end up playing it much. But I did like, what was that name? Paradox or something? I had a lot of fun playing it. I like the designs, I feel like, in it. It's sort of like fantasy and noir-esque style. Anyway, Marvel Rivals came out, and obviously anything which has an IP behind it has a lot of appeal. It's immediately going to get that injection of people playing it, isn't it? Like, I mean, even Pokemon Unite had a lot of people playing it as soon as it came out. Just a brand appeal of Pokemon is really that strong. But brand appeal of Marvels, I feel like, is doing pretty well. Like, I feel like this is a good time, if anything, for Marvel Rivals to do. Oh, it's even free. Nice. To go out and do stuff, because it's sort of like, yeah, I mean, people have that brand appeal. You know, you look at it and be like, absolutely, people are gonna go into it, because Marvel is pretty popular. Like, I don't know what the most recent Marvel films are and how they've been doing. Like, what generation 4, 5 are we on? Whatever is after Endgame. I feel like, certainly, I feel it's missed the peak of hype. You know, if Marvel Rivals started coming out, I think in between Infinity War and Endgame being released, I think I would have been, imagine the numbers on that. Still, let's see. Marvel Rivals player counts. It probably still is quite high. 7? What? Oh, this is the playtest. I was like, that can't be right. 460,000, that's pretty good. That's like Dota 2 levels. It's a lot more actually than, surprisingly, Deadlock was on release. But again, that shouldn't be surprising. Perhaps really it's about brand appeal. Siege players count. How's Siege been doing? 60,000-ish. That's pretty decent. It's still holding its own. Actually, Siege is surprisingly consistent, all things considered. It has peaks, I guess, at season starts or something, but it's only 1,000. That's kind of languished in our friend circle, at least. Which shame. I do like Siege, but it's also not something I'm like, I always want to play anyway. It's more, as the graph shows, it comes in waves, if anything. Actually, I mean, the graph's waves are not really like player interest. Well, I guess it kind of is player interest, technically, but I think the dips and troughs are kind of more defined by what time it is for the majority of its player base. But yeah, Siege ended up sort of dying a little bit. Not because Siege is bad. Well, I mean, Siege is a little bit buggy or something. I think it's quite a highly stressful and competitive game or something, from that nature of it. Ain't always so relaxing, so it's not like high on the list to play. Compared to a nice chilled out ARAM. IMO, at least. Yeah, I don't know what else I was going to say about that. I don't think there is anything else to say about that. But it's cool to see all these games coming out and seeing how people enjoying them. Marvel Rivals and all that. Because, I don't know, like, I guess, I mean, for one, competition in any game space is great because competition breeds innovativity. Innovation. I was like, that's not a noun for to innovate. And allows healthy competition, so, you know, it's not like you'll be stuck with a monopoly who basically decides entirely how game design in a market goes. If they're never challenged, then there's no reason to, like, improve, I guess is perhaps the way to put it. No reason to go further with what they're doing. So it's certainly a good thing. I don't think anyone is going to fault me for saying something like that. But I don't know what that is really. That was kind of the entire point I was going to say. I guess what I was going to say is I think part of me is as interested in it because I'm wondering if something can sort of recapture that magic, you know, you feel. Like, I remember Overwatch being released and then playing it with friends, and then how it just sort of became all-consuming. It kind of became regained for a while. And I sometimes wonder, I'm just like, I wonder if anything, not necessarily just for Overwatch itself, but see if anything will recapture the sort of that pull, you know? If anything will recapture the sort of magic from that moment when you're younger, when you're a child, and you're just like, oh, being able to play this game and have it be just the only thing you're thinking about. Well, not the only thing you're thinking about, the only game you want to play. You go home, you play it with your friends. You know? I guess that's kind of what I'm trying to say. But I think that's more of a product of time, if anything. That's not so much defined by the game itself. Like, I'm sure to a certain degree it is, but I'm sure plenty of other people are having those moments, right? Are having those times where people are like, yes, I am engaging with this, having a great time, these other things, I'm playing what I'm doing. And I'm trying to think how to phrase this. Like, everyone at like all points, there's going to be someone having their sort of defining moment, which is going to define like a portion of their life, right? And I guess I'm coming at it from like a video game perspective, because that's kind of what I know best, right? That's what it's easiest to relate to, but it's more, I suppose, is what I'm trying to say, is a product of the time of playing it, so much more than it's a product of the actual game you play. Like, I can't imagine basically how good a game would have to be able to sort of shuffle off, you know, like League of Legends, for example, from our friend circle. I'm not saying League of Legends is a bad game, I'm not saying it's like the best game ever or something, but it's so ingrained. You would have to have a really good game which somehow appeals to everyone simultaneously, that people would want to sort of continuously play it. And I think that's a tall order. I'm not sure if that's a fair order as well. Nowadays, you know, the investment that you can really put into a game is far diminished, you know, as you get older. I'm sorry to say. If you're not at that age yet, but so the sort of buy-in for games is a lot higher. So I'm just trying to, like, let's imagine this sort of theoretical world. How good is this game that it would shuffle not just my friend groups, but any friend circles sort of go-to game? You know, that's like years of built-in game knowledge, which you're upending, which you're subverting, just by, well, I'm not sure existing is the right word, but you're upending it just by trying to compete in that space in the first place. How good would it have to be? And the answer is I don't know. Pretty darn good, I would wager, but I don't even know if a game like that... Do you think a game like that could exist? Well, I don't see why it couldn't, I guess is the better way to put it. I'm not sure what about it would specifically deny it from existing, but yeah, I don't know. Just how good would it have to be? What would it even have to do? Do you think there even is like a certain genre of game which could do that? Which could, I'm not sure upset the balance is the right word, but shuffle the balance so greatly that people would want to sort of like engage with it in that sense. Again, I don't see why it couldn't. Or a game couldn't. But I don't know what game that would be. And in this theoretical world, who knows if it could exist? I mean, it probably could, but you know what I mean, right? I wonder what that game would look like. It's almost the same. This is like such a weird thing to say. I was going to say it's almost a shame that this world is not a simulation in some ways. You know, wouldn't it be cool if it's a simulation where you could just change some variables on the back end and make a game? which is just so unbelievably appealing to everyone, but everyone basically stops to play it. And then you can analyze it, I suppose, from in the simulated world and be like, what's this game like? How do you play it? What's involved? What about... I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy for thinking it. I think that would legit be cool. That's why I'm saying, like, it's kind of a shame you can't. I guess comforting in some ways as well, that life is not a simulation. Being able to have free will. Well, I'm not actually sure, now I think about it, I'm not actually sure if having free will matters all that much. Because if you do have it, then yeah, I guess it does matter, but if you don't have it, then it's not really like it has much bearing at the end of the day. You just don't have it. It's not like you have much control over it. It just kind of is what it is. How interesting is that? It's just very much it is what it is sort of thing. Anyway, the perfect game. I'm not going to say by definition it can't exist. I'm just going to say more likely it will never exist. And is that sad? No, not really. It just is what it is. It just wasn't meant to be. But if it did exist, I wonder what genre it would have to be. I think at this point, wouldn't it have to be like a whole new emergent type of genre? Because if you think about the game-defining games, I suppose, of each generation, I mean, you might argue what some of them are, but I feel like most of them are basically stand out in their genre. Right, you know, like World of Warcraft for an entire generation before me. Completely not defined the MMORPG genre, because I mean, there are old MMOs. But definitely was the one that held itself in people's consciousness for many a year. League of Legends, definitely not the first MOBA, but also, I mean, it has sort of widespread popularity. The biggest widespread popularity of all of them. Minecraft, the sort of like creative survival game. Not the first of a genre, but certainly one that held its own. Well, held its own, I think, is understating it, if anything. So if anything, I guess the next big game, I really want to wonder what the next sort of game-defining genre, generational defining game will be. I feel like it must be WoW for going back, and then it must be Minecraft for the next one. And I guess in modern days, you could argue League, or you could argue Fortnite or League of Legends, I think. I don't know if either of them have quite the same reach as Minecraft did. It's possible. It's possible. Anyway, on that note, I'm going to round this episode up here. So, if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares, greatly appreciated. Socials, Discord down below. Hope we see each other again, but for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye-bye for now.